Hey, it's About Town Deb. I'm so excited. We have Kay and Shi here today, and we're going to be talking about some stuff that's already stressing me out. What is that?
We are talking social media detox, and we're going to get all into that. But it plays a lot into how we balance all of the aspects of our lives.
With family, with friends, with foe, and everyone in between. We're excited to get into the impacts and effects of social media here today with who we lovingly call our Aunt Deb.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community, bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
Welcome to this episode of City Talk. I am About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, your host, and I'm privileged and honored to have two of the most amazing women and sisters, community rock stars. They love their family. They love their community. They're just amazing. We have Kay and Shi with the Kay and Shi Show. They have their podcast. They're entrepreneurs. They have restaurants. They worked with all the big wigs of communication like John Maxwell and many more. So I feel like I'm in this middle and I feel like they're just such like superstars next to me. But anyway, I'm more like Aunt Debbie because I love to, they're all over, but when they speak and they do emceeing, I love to be like right there in front, taking photos, cheering them on. And they inspire me with they're so authentic. And they're so real. And they share about their family. They share about, we're talking about detoxing on social media. See, I can't even breathe because it's scaring me already. But they have done a detox and they have much more planned for 2023. So we're going to be talking about that. But mainly, it's about balance. And as y'all know, all of us, you listening, we are everywhere. We are trying to, do our emails, do our phones, cook dinner, play with the kids, go to work, pick up the kids, do this, grocery shop. I mean, it never ends. And volunteer and be part of your community. And especially for moms and dads too. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I feel like the 30 years I was married and 33 years of my oldest son, I feel like all I was trying to do was balance and be there for everybody. So I'm really happy because I'm going to get some tips. We're going to get lots of tips because these gals know how to do it. But before we get our tips, we want to thank Crystal Basin Cellars. We want to thank Surratt Law Practice. And of course, we're at the Musicians Rehearsal Center in Sparks, Nevada. Christian, thank you. And Dee Dee James for the theme song and Caliber Hair and Makeup. And I think one of you guys may know Trace. I think he handles one of your families. I think your hubby, does he do his hair?
Danny,
With Danny, I think I've been in there and Danny was getting his hair colored. So it was kind of cool. And I think he had your daughter, or who was in there? He had somebody, I don't know who he had in there, but he was rocking it. So with that said, let's get into balance. I'm going to be real calm for a moment. So who would like to start with why is it so important, especially in 2022, to find that balance of home, heart, family, soul, all of that? Who wants to go first? Kay or Shi or?
I'll chime in if we can.
You chime in.
All right. So I just want, let's pretend that this is balance here on the table.
Okay.
I want everybody to come to the side of it and we're just going to wipe it off the table. Okay,
What do
ready?
you mean? What do we
Get
wipe
out of
off?
here. We are taking balance off the table. Taking balance off the table in favor of something that we think, Deb, you're going to like.
Oh, please.
Well, let's think about balance as a concept really quick. When we think about balance, we think about maybe someone on a tight wire, right?
That's a balance.
Or balancing a plate, right? Everybody talks about they're spinning plates.
A teeter-totter.
Right? But
bicycle.
What the thing about balance is that we've realized is that it takes a lot of intention and attention. You constantly have to be moving things around in order to find that center of balance. And so we say bullocks to balance and bring on the harmony. Now, harmony instead of balance allows you to understand that sometimes parts of your life are going to take over. And sometimes other parts of your life are going to need more attention, but getting them to harmonize and work together is a lot easier to manage than trying to balance all of the time.
Well, I think when you show the balance like that, whether you say a teeter-totter or even a bicycle, when you're on the bicycle, I feel like your inside is like stressed,
right?
Because you're like, I got to do this. I got to do this. And then you fall because you're unbalanced and you're like, oh, I got to get up and try again. So the harmony part of it. So how do we take the stress out of the balance?
Right. Well, harmony. And when we think about this idea of harmony, we think about harmony in a musician sense, right? Sure. Let's think about bringing together an orchestra, and we have all these different instruments. Now, if every single instrument was trying to play all of their parts all at once,
it would sound horrible.
It would sound horrible. Right. Instead, we have this beautiful flow in the orchestra, from the strings to the horns to the drums, where one crescendos and the other decrescendos, and they harmonize together and they come together in these beautiful parts. And life is a lot more fluid like that. So when we're trying to balance everybody's sound, if they're all playing at once, that would be really difficult. But allowing room for harmony in the orchestra allows for a more beautiful piece. And it turns out that life is also kind of like that.
I think it's kind of semantics aside, though, right? What you're getting at about balance and what we're getting at with harmony is really that same idea. Like, how do we negotiate all of the different demands on our time without losing our mental health and our stability in the process, right? So whether we're calling that balance or we're calling that harmony, we've definitely found, I'm sure as many of you have as well, that modern life is pretty freaking overwhelming, right? There are so many demands on our careers, on our families, on our physical fitness, on our spiritual connection. And most of those demands, raise your hand if you're like this, you put on yourself, right? High achievers.
All the time.
Yes.
Those lists you make, and then you get depressed if you don't put enough on, or then you put things on that are like little things like, I opened the car door, yay!
All of those hacks and tricks, right?
I do that, yeah. So no, it's crazy, but it's almost time for break. We come back, I'm going to start with a quote that I think is perfect for today, and we're going to continue the conversation. It's about Town Deb, and we have Kay and Shi with us. Be right back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's about Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back. I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy. We have Kay and we have Shi here with the Kay and Shi Show. They have a podcast. They have restaurants. They're entrepreneurs. They're moms. They're wives. They're everything. And they seem to have learned a tidbit about balancing all that together. And I, on the other hand, feel like I'm going in circles, and I start here and I go there, and I think I have to be what everybody wants me to be, and you end up just going in circles. And when you go in circles, I do lose my balance because, I get kind of dizzy, and I don't want to be dizzy anymore. But I'm going to read this quote from Shonda Rhimes, and I feel like it's really important right now. Happiness comes from living as you need to, as you want to, as your inner voice tells you to. Happiness comes from being who you actually are Happiness comes from being who you actually are instead of who you think you're supposed to be. And I feel like most of my life, I am feeling like I'm being what the world wants me to be. Between the TV commercials, the magazines, the social media, you think, I need to be like that. I have to do that. I need to get more balance in my life so I can be what I feel the world wants me to be. So I would love to turn it back over to you guys. And I want you guys to tell me, what does work-life balance mean to each of you?
I'd love to pick this back up at the idea of the orchestra. We talked a little bit about earlier. And as we're flowing back and forth from the different sections, you want to imagine yourself as the conductor of your life orchestra. The horn section could represent your fitness. The string section could represent your family. The drum section could represent your career path. Now, giving yourself as the conductor of the orchestra permission to sit in the seat of control and move your focus from one area of the orchestra to another, or one area of your life to another, as the demands of the areas grow or are needed, allows you to A, be in the driver's seat, and B, take some of the stress out of feeling like you have to balance, because it is the job of the conductor to move the focus from one thing to another. And it's your job in your life to